we are live. Excuse me for the screw up on that setting I had earlier. And we will get started here in just a minute. Great. And all right. Okay. Trying to get everything going there. Let's up to speed there. There we go. All right. Okay. Picture seems to be going through a little bit of a lag here. And hopefully we will stay live. Okay, there are 3 of us in here. So, hello, good morning. Here we are. Okay. Well, I'm going to start by just marking this off right now. Well, I've got a minute. This is about 11 1/4, which means it's about 5 1/2, 5 and right about there. There. And I'll measure from here. It's about 5 1/2. Under 5 1/2, right about there. Right about there. And I'll measure from over here, where we're at just over 11, so it's 5 1/2 and just a touch more. It's right about here. And we'll try straight on here. This is just under 11. That looks like it's right about, let's see, it's 5 1/2, right about there. And let's see if we can go this way across. And here we are at about here. And here we are right about that's about 11 1/2, so that's about 60. So it's about right about here. So somewhere in this general area is our center. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll try and see how this works on here. As you can see, this is a pretty big bowl. Okay. So if I try to get this about even all the way around. I know that's a little bit out of range, so yeah, we're right in here. Right as here is our center. It's not going to be perfect, but there we go. So I thought I'd start this morning with, wow, 154 in here already. I'm starting this morning with a pair. This is almost a little over 11-inch pair. Well, it's pretty big, as you can see with my hands here. It's 2 hands width. So it's pretty good sized. And we're going to have to do is mount this up. And for this, I'm going to use a large faceplate this time. And we will attempt to get it screwed in well. There we go. And I'm just going to put a couple in to hold it first. Just kind of loosely. There we go. And I'm probably going to have to drill some holes after that, but we'll get these in just to kind of hold it in place so I can drill the holes for the other ones. Let's see. Right about there. Good, that one went right in. So I can back this one out a little bit. It's just going in loose for some reason. Okay. Well, we will drill the holes for the other ones because I think they're going to need it. This seems to be a pretty deep bowl. And I don't need to have really big starting holes, but I need to have something in there that'll at least give the screws a starting chance. So, oops, there we go. Helps to use a drill that has a battery that's working at the time. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill some pilot holes here. Ooh. Didn't want to hold on there. Okay, come on. Try that again. There we go. And here. Boy, it's a tough wood. Wants to hold on to the drill bit even. Come on. Get me out of there. Okay, well, I'm going to have to get that back on the drill. So this is all part of the fun. Sometimes you have to kind of fight with your equipment a little bit to get something out. Boy, it just doesn't want to come out of there. It's like holding on for dear life, which is good sometimes, but not good other times, so. Boy, it just does not want to come out of there. Let me try a different drill here. Maybe I can persuade it more with this other one. There we go. Got it out of there. Okay, and we'll do one over here. And that gets us started. All right. I like to have 3 or 4 different drills. That way I don't have to keep changing out my equipment as I go. Here we go. Let's see. we'll put a, oh, that's a little too much. Okay, let's get this one in here. There we are. Get one on this side. Okay, I can take these out. And I can put in something a little better, I hope. There we go, that one's in. Take this one up. There we go. And we'll just go around the outside here. There we are. And I've been using up some of my screws in some other projects, so I'm gonna have to resupply myself here pretty soon. No, that's not gonna hold. Come on out of there. Yeah, I'm not going to worry it too much. It'll hold. And that's the important thing here. We just want to get some bite into the wood. It is a heavy piece of wood we're turning here. And it needs to be held in place while we shape it. Okay. That should be good enough to hold it. It's not going to be the greatest hold, but it'll hold. Okay. Get my screw put away, our drill bits put away, and we can get started here. I appreciate you guys coming in this morning. And I appreciate it if you can hit the like button. We're going to mount this up. Here we are. Oh yeah, that's a nice big boy. This is probably the largest bull we've turned on here on the live in a while. Usually we do a little bit smaller projects simply, due to time factors and so forth, but I thought we'd give this a shot today and see if we can't get this going a little bit. So I'm gonna get that turned in like that. Get this moved like that. How close can I get? Good, about like that. Always want to do everything by hand first, check everything, make sure you can get in there, do all that kind of fun stuff. Once I get this off here a little bit, I'll be able to bring the bottom of the banjo in and be able to get the other side here. But just for the moment, this is going to be a beautiful piece of wood when we are finished with it. Because pear has a lot of beautiful natural colors to it, from purples and oranges and reds and all sorts of colors in between. In fact, I'll show you a piece of the cutoff. You can kind of get an idea. This is what you see on the inside here of the wood. See the reds and the even blue almost colors in there, or on this piece here. I don't know if that's a little bit easier to see. It just styrates different stratas going through it as it grew, from the sapwood into the hardwood in the center. It just really gets some beautiful color to it. And this was a big pear tree. So let me get my mask on. Oh, one other thing I do want to do, I want to make sure that I resharpen this tool here. We're going to be using this gouge today. And I do want to make sure that it is in good shape for this particular project. So hey big dog, glad you're in here. I haven't seen you in a while. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this in here so you guys can see what I do. I put this in here. This makes an exact 2-inch depth for this. I take it over and I already have my grinder set up so that it is at the right angle for this particular tool. And I just turn it on. I'm going to go back and forth with it a couple times. That should be all it needs to get a nice smooth edge on it. About 30 seconds on the grinder is all it takes. And yeah, that looks pretty good. You can see got a nice sharp grind on there. And okay, so now I will put my mask on. Say hi to everybody. Hey Michael. You'll be in properly soon. Okay, great. Well, thank you all for coming in this morning. I do appreciate it. And if you'd please hit the like button, I'd appreciate that also. We're just shy of 3,000 subscribers. We didn't quite hit it the other day. So let's see what we can do here. I turn it up, but I don't want to turn it up too much. I don't want to have too much of a wobble going on. There we go. We use that right there just to get it started here. Like I said, I'm going to take that end down just a little bit. Let's see if we get this just a little bit angled differently. There you go. Put a little light on it for you. Yeah. Okay. Now you can see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm approaching this. And what we're going to do, just for you guys that haven't turned before, I guess I should show you. Now this is curved in, so as I'm coming in here, this slopes, because it slopes off and I'm only getting the wood here, I'm getting the bark here, it's going to be gaps. It's going to come through here and bang, and then it's going to come through and bang, and so forth. So one of the ways to do that is to undercut it a little bit by going sideways instead of coming straight on. Because when I'm coming straight on, it's just going to hit and bang and hit and bang and like that. So you come in at an angle, and that allows me to take off the bigger chunks. Also allows me to get beat up. There's some pieces flying off for a minute. This is why we wear a mask in the winter. And we try not to be in the direct line of fire. And this first 1 or 2 times are a little rough, and then it starts to round up a little bit. We'll be able to see where it's hitting. Now it's going to look really rough here at first. We're hitting almost all of the wood here, and it's not hitting here at all. And we're hitting here, but not here, because that's a little flatter. We're hitting here, so you can see it's a little inconsistent. It's not as round as it appears when you first start this. So make sure I'm clearing. Okay, good.
And as you do this, as you're taking off a lot of wood at the beginning, you want to kind of keep moving that rest forward so you're close in, because what you don't want is you don't want your gouge to get stuck down in here or something. So let's come in from the bottom side this time. And now you can see we're starting to get a little bit more nice turning now. Now, a lot of times with a piece of wood like this, you would consider this to be the top and this to be the bottom. And what you're doing is you are, because you want to keep this live, I'm not necessarily going to keep this. I'm going to actually carve this wood up. I'm going to make a tenon here. I'm going to make this a slightly smaller piece, about like this thick, but a big bowl. And I'm going to make this end here the top end of the bowl. The part will be hollowed out. Usually you would go the other way around, but I'm going to use the natural shape of the wood to kind of create it. You can approach this either way. Yeah. And we are getting pretty close to round. I'd get a little bit more off of his edge. We're getting there. But, wow, the shop already looks like crap. Gotta say. So, Big Dog, what have you been working on? Are you back in the shop? I happen to know that. My guess is you've probably been tearing it up in the shop. You know that wood that you got a while back. I hope all of you got a chance to see Ryan this morning at 77 Rockets and watch him turn that bowl. I didn't get to see the very end of it, but I know he was turning some really pretty wood. Ryan's come a long way in his cooking. Compared to when he first came to my shop and I was explaining some of the basics, he's really come a long way. Michael Wilson, if you see Michael Wilson here, he is my moderator. He is one of my moderators. He is also starting his channel out, so take a look at his. I think Dave at Timber Designs was working on doing a live this morning on some pens. He was going to come by when he was finished. You did miss the sharpening piece I did just now, but I will go back to it again, Michael, in a little bit, because this chair's gonna tear up my gouge, and it's gonna need some work. So when you do it, Michael, I'll take you right back over to the sharpening system, okay? I'm gonna turn this volume, this speed up just a little bit now. Now we got it more rounded out, I can do a little faster with it. Yeah, I see a nice curve to it now. Hey, that should have just about taken off most of the flat. We got a little bit of flat spot here. But I don't want to take off more than I need to. I just want to take off enough to get me into the round. So So let's we'll get that bottom end here in just a minute. See how we're doing. Yeah, just that little piece, but that'll come off. That's not a problem. Okay, so we got a relatively round piece of pier now, and it's still probably, well, 10.5 inches at least, but not 11. Because it's a pretty good sized bowl. And we are going to work on this back side. Now, there's a lot of ways to approach the back side. I'm just going to do what usually works for me here. We're just going to come up on it. I might have to raise my tool a little bit. Let's see. We're right about in the right spot. Okay, good. All right, now I have to move it in. We're just going to chip away at this bark on the backside. I often do live center bowls or live edge bowls, I should say, and keep the bark. But in this case, I'm just going to use the bark on the very edge, maybe to accent it a little bit. And we're just going to let the bowl look beautiful as it is. So, get this all knocked down. There we go. Now we got the high points out. Flying right at the camera, but now I can take a look and see what this looks like. Yeah, see, we got a little bit more on this side than this side. That's okay. I do need to get down to the wood though. I can't be in the bark when I have my tenon, so I do need to get this cleared out. I can't rely on bark to hold the tenon. Oh, boy, that is really tough in the middle. This is really hard wood, I think. Yeah. Now let's see how I'm at. I still need to go a little deeper because I got this bark here. So this is going to have to come off as we go. I guess got to go closer. Please double tap that screen or hit the like button if you can. Take that off in sections. I think we're getting into some wood now. Let's see. Yeah, it's still got a little bit of bark here. That's not. This is pretty hard. Yeah, but I would rather be into some really solid wood, so I'm going to take it down just a little bit further. Because when it comes to tenon, you want wood that's not going to give out. That's the downside. Michael, I think. Mr. Wilson, I think if you're still here, we're going to probably have to go back to that sharpening station here in just a minute. So just bear with me. Wow, this is just, everything is covered. I'm covered. Let me kind of show you here. The floor. This is my foot. You can see this is how much stuff I got all over the floor here. This thing is really giving us quite a lot of stuff to clean up. But and we'll do that in a minute too. But okay, so I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scraper here just to kind of smooth this out a little bit. And then I'll get my skew and really straighten it out. You see how soft that is? See all the dust that comes up from that? That's the soft wood I want to avoid using to hold my tenon. Here it's pretty hard, but that other stuff that was coming up when I was hitting here, that's really soft and dusty, and that will give out. So that's why we want the tenon to be right in here. And I think we've pretty much accomplished that. So let me use this. I want to get this up a little bit. Get this up just a little more. There we go. Okay. I like to have it just a little bit down pointed on the scraper. Scraper will give us a nice, or I'm sorry, the skew. Scraper, I apologize. This is a skew. And we will use that skew to, I always like to use the skew to kind of flatten out everything. Make it look pretty. Okay. You can already see some of the color coming out in that wood. And you can also see cracks. And that's the enemy of the turner. Oh yeah, that's nice and smooth. This lays perfectly flat across there now. So that's good. So, and there's even a little chatoyance in the wood. You can see these marks here. That's the way the wood works. You see these little lines. The wood is growing like this, but it has these stress marks right here. That's okay. That's just going to add to the look of the finished product. Now we do a little smoothing out on the edges, like so, and Just want it very light. I'm not putting any pressure on this at all. I'm just letting it pick up any little slight highlight that it may touch as it goes. See if it goes right there. It's almost like using it as sandpaper. It's just really just touching the surface. That's all it's doing, okay? Great. Now we got a good surface. We'll be able to put a tenon on there. Let's see. And I think, I'm trying to think which chuck I'm going to use today on this. Because I'll use this one. Okay, so if I use this chuck, it's got about this much on the outside, which is about like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the half. I'm going to put this in here, bring it down to here. Now I want to close that up just a little bit. This is a little bit, if you look at this, this is not exactly oval. I'm going to tighten that down just a little bit. And when they cut these, they cut them with a saw so that there's a saw kerf in here. So that right there is about an actual circle with that little gap. It's not when it's completely closed. So I'm going to do that. See where I'm at here. And that should give me just about the right amount. Okay. So if I turn this on, and I find the center right there, I should be able to find the pencil mark right about there. And that's how you can mark for your tenon. Now, when I'm doing this, I usually tend to start a little bit in from there. I don't want to go right out to the edge right away. And I'm going to have to lower this just a bit. Don't need to lower it a lot, but I need to lower it a little bit. So there we are in the center. I'm going to come out. Let me put my speed up a little bit. And I'm not going to go much deeper than that, so. Okay, just wanted to get that kind of out of the way, then I can get in here with this skew. And the skew will just level everything out real nicely for me. Now I can go in here and nibble away at the edge. And nibble away a little bit more. Okay, let's see what we got. Looking good so far. Now let's try this and see how we did. Oh yeah, fits in there just nicely. So that's a good way to get your mitered tenon. And usually we don't need to go much deeper than this. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Make sure that it's nice and round and smooth. And I don't want to do much more to it than that. Because remember, what you want is you want this to be right in there, and these little grooves will be pushing out into this wood. Like I said, we avoided the bark. Now that goes in there like so. And I think what I'm going to also, just to make it extra careful, I'm going to try and put this broad part up against this expanse so that it's not splitting it with the pressure. And you really don't need any more depth than this. I know a lot of people think, oh my God, I've got to go, you know, a half an inch deep or something. Or some people think they have to get to all the way to this on the bottom, and you do not need to go this deep. That's just wasted space, because this is what's holding, not all this. So if you did a miter that was this deep, you're just going to have a big hole in the bottom of your bowl, and you're not going to be able to turn your bowl very well either. This is a little bit high in the center, so I'm going to take that down. I'll take that over to the corner. Okay, that should be good. Okay, now we got that. So we got our tenon, we got the bowl. I think I need to fix that just a little bit. I can see it here, and it's because of the bark is what it is. Obviously some more will come off during sanding and all, but I like to remove as many tool marks as I can before we get to the sanding phase. It's a lot quicker and a lot easier to take it off with a tool than it is to take it off. Yeah, that's a little better than it is to take it off with a sander, because sanding. Okay, so let's get to the outside of this, and let me come over here and see what you guys are talking about and asking and stuff. And let's see. When I was turning way back, when I was a kid, I would always drill a shallow hole in the center to make it smoother when flattening the bottom of the tenon and hauling the wool out. Yeah, you can do that too. When you turn it around, when I turn this around to do the inside of the bowl, yes, you can use a Forstner bit or whatever, and then that gives you your depth, and you work your way down to that. There's like 500-600 people in here, so I'd like to see a lot more likes if we can. It does help the algorithm, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hit over 3,000 today on our subs, because we were at 299 the other day, and then a couple of them were canceled out. YouTube does that sometimes with people that are not actual active members of YouTube, and then they will adjust. So we came awfully close the other day. Now I'm going to move my sharpener over here just a little bit, so that we can get that in the picture. Oops. Allow me to adjust my camera. I'm sorry, but I have to do this.